Chioma's hands trembled as she aimed her phone camera at the documents spread across Park Jin-woo's mahogany desk. Click. Another photo. Click. Her heart hammered so loud she was certain someone would hear it through the walls. The ledger showed names, dates, amounts that made her stomach turn. Miguel Torres, 50,000, departed. Carlos Ruiz, 30,000, relocated. She knew what those words really meant. Footsteps echoed in the marble hallway outside. Her breath caught. The footsteps grew louder, closer. She shoved the papers back into the leather briefcase, her fingers fumbling with the clasp. It wouldn't close. Come on, come on. The brass latch finally clicked into place just as the door handle began to turn. Chioma grabbed the feather duster from the cleaning cart and spun toward the bookshelf, her chest heaving. The door swung open. Park Jin-woo stood in the doorway, his 6-foot frame filling the space. His dark eyes, sharp and calculating behind gold-rimmed glasses, locked onto hers. For 3 endless seconds, neither of them moved. Chioma. His voice carried a slight Korean accent, smooth and controlled. It's past midnight. What are you still doing here? She forced her voice to stay steady. I spilled coffee on your desk this morning, sir. I wanted to make sure it didn't stain the wood. She gestured at the desk with the duster, praying he couldn't see the sweat beading on her forehead. Jin-woo's gaze moved from her face to the desk, then to the briefcase. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. He stepped into the room, and Chioma's legs threatened to give out beneath her. He moved past her, so close she could smell his cologne, expensive and suffocating. He picked up the briefcase, examining it. This was open when I left. He said it quietly, almost to himself. I may have bumped it with the cart, sir. I'm so sorry. He turned to face her fully now, his expression unreadable. 10 years of nursing in Lagos had taught Chioma how to keep her face neutral under pressure, but this was different. This man wasn't a difficult patient. He was something far more dangerous. Go to bed, Chioma. We'll talk in the morning. She nodded, grabbed her cleaning cart, and walked toward the door. Each step felt like walking through water. Don't run. Don't look back. Just keep walking. Chioma. She stopped, her hand on the doorframe. Be careful. This house has many valuable things. It would be unfortunate if something were to go missing. Yes, sir. Good night, sir. She made it to her small room on the 3rd floor and locked the door behind her. Her legs finally gave out and she slid down against the wall, her whole body shaking. The phone felt like a bomb in her pocket. She pulled it out and stared at the photos. Evidence. Insurance. Or her death sentence. 3 months earlier, this had seemed like a blessing. The agency had called her about a housekeeping position with exceptional pay. $12,000 a month for a live-in maid. It was more than she'd made in a year as a nurse in Nigeria. Her mother needed surgery for her failing kidneys. Her younger sister Adi's university fees were overdue. Her late brother's 3 children depended on the money she sent home. She'd asked why the pay was so high. The agency woman had smiled. Mr. Park values privacy and discretion. He's a very private man. Private. That was one word for it. Chioma had noticed things from the first week. Men in expensive suits arriving at odd hours, some Korean, some black, some speaking languages she couldn't identify. Conversations that stopped abruptly when she entered rooms. Phones that required fingerprints and passwords. Security cameras in every corner except the maid's quarters. The other staff members who never quite met her eyes. Maria, the cook, had been working there for 5 years. She was a small Mexican woman with perpetually worried eyes. After 2 months, Maria had finally warmed up to Chioma enough to share lunch together in the kitchen. You seem nervous around Mr. Park, Chioma had said, trying to sound casual. Maria's fork had frozen halfway to her mouth. She'd glanced at the doorway, then leaned in close. There was a girl before you. Isabella. She was here for 6 months. What happened to her? She gave notice. Said she was moving to California to be closer to her family. Maria's voice dropped to barely a whisper. 2 weeks later, she was supposed to leave. The night before, Mr. Kong took her to get her final paycheck. She never came back for her things. Never called. Her phone number doesn't work anymore. Chioma had felt ice spreading through her veins. Maybe she really did move to California. Maria had looked at her with those sad, knowing eyes. Maybe. But her clothes are still in storage in the basement. All of them. Who moves across the country without their clothes? That conversation had happened 3 weeks ago. Since then, Chioma had been planning her exit. She'd saved enough for her mother's surgery, almost enough for Adi's tuition. Just 2 more months and she could leave with her head high and her conscience clear. Then yesterday, while cleaning Jin-woo's study in the afternoon, she'd knocked over his briefcase by accident. The papers had spilled everywhere. And she'd seen things she could never unsee. Photos of men with red X marks across their faces. Ledgers with coded entries that didn't take a genius to decipher. Bank statements from offshore accounts. A handgun tucked in a hidden compartment. She wasn't working for an import-export businessman. She was working for a criminal. Possibly a killer. And now he knew that she knew. Morning came too quickly. Chioma barely slept, jumping at every sound in the hallway. At 6, she forced herself out of bed and went through her usual routine. Shower. Dress in her simple black uniform. Tie her braids back. If she acted normal, maybe he'd believe nothing happened. She found Jin-woo in the dining room, reading a Korean newspaper over black coffee. The morning sun streaming through the tall windows made the scene look almost peaceful. Almost. Good morning, sir. Would you like me to prepare breakfast? He looked up, studying her face. Sit down, Chioma. Her stomach dropped. Sir, I have work to do. Sit. It wasn't a request. She lowered herself into the chair across from him, her hands clasped tight in her lap to stop them from shaking. Jin-woo folded his newspaper carefully and set it aside. He took off his glasses, cleaned them with a cloth from his pocket, and put them back on. Every movement was deliberate, controlled. She'd learned that about him over 3 months. He never rushed. Never showed emotion. It made him terrifying. How long have you been in America, Chioma? 4 years, sir. And before this job? I worked at a nursing home in Brooklyn. Before that, I was a nurse in Lagos for 10 years. He nodded slowly. A nurse. That explains it. Explains what, sir? Why you're observant. Why you notice details others miss. He leaned back in his chair. I checked the security footage from last night. The camera's in the hallway, not the study. I respect my own privacy too much to put cameras there. But I saw you leave my study at 12:17. You were supposed to finish cleaning the 2nd floor by 9. Chioma's mouth went dry. I told you, sir. The coffee stain. There was no coffee stain on my desk when I came home at 11:30. His voice remained calm, conversational even. So let me ask you directly. What were you really doing in my study? The lie died in her throat. She could see it in his eyes. He already knew. There was no point in pretending anymore. I saw the papers. Yesterday, when I knocked over your briefcase by accident. I saw what was inside. And last night you came back to see more. She nodded, her heart racing. Why? Planning to go to the police? Sell information to my competitors? Blackmail me? His tone held no anger, just curiosity, like he was trying to solve an interesting puzzle. No, sir. I just wanted insurance. I wanted to leave, but after what Maria told me about Isabella, I was afraid. I thought if I had evidence, if something happened to me, someone would know. Someone would look for me. Jin-woo was quiet for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. That was actually smart. Desperate, but smart. Most people in your situation would have just run. That usually ends badly for them. I can't run. My family needs this money. My mother is dying without her surgery. My sister will have to drop out of university. My brother's children will starve. Her voice cracked despite her best efforts. I didn't ask to stumble into your world, Mr. Park. I just needed a job. And yet here you are. In my world. With information that could destroy me. He poured himself more coffee, the gesture casual, as if they were discussing the weather. Tell me, Chioma. What do you think I should do about this situation? The question hung in the air between them. She knew what he was really asking. Should I let you live? I'll quit. Today. I'll delete the photos. I'll forget everything I saw. I'll go back to Nigeria and you'll never hear from me again. Will you? He tilted his head. Or will you wait 6 months, a year, and then suddenly remember when you need money again? Maybe contact a journalist? Maybe the FBI? I would never. Everyone says that. Until they need something badly enough. He stood up, walked to the window, his hands clasped behind his back. I'm going to tell you a story. My father was Korean. My mother was from Kenya. They met in Seoul when she was a student. When I was born, neither country truly accepted me. Too black for Korea. Too Korean for Africa. Too foreign for America when we moved here. You know what I learned? The world is not kind to people who don't fit in neat boxes. Chioma didn't know what to say, so she stayed silent. I built this organization from nothing. Do you know why I'm successful? Because I understand what it means to be invisible. To be underestimated. To do whatever it takes to survive. He turned back to face her. I see that same desperation in you. That willingness to cross lines you never thought you'd cross. I'm nothing like you. No? You broke into my study. You photographed confidential documents. You're sitting here lying to my face, telling me you'll delete photos I'm certain you've already backed up somewhere. His eyes narrowed. You're more like me than you want to admit. Before she could respond, the dining room door burst open. A young girl rushed in, her school uniform slightly disheveled, her backpack hanging off one shoulder. She had Jin-woo's dark eyes but her skin was a warm brown, her curly hair pulled into a ponytail. Appa. You promised you'd drive me to school today. You promised. She stopped when she saw Chioma. Oh. Sorry. I didn't know you were in a meeting. Jin-woo's entire demeanor changed. His face softened. His shoulders relaxed. I'm not in a meeting, Hannah. Just talking with Chioma. Give me 5 minutes to get my keys. Hannah smiled at Chioma. You're the new housekeeper, right? You make the best jollof rice. Way better than Maria's attempt at it. She laughed, then looked at her father. 5 minutes. I'm timing you. She disappeared back into the hallway. The moment the door closed, Jin-woo's expression hardened again. My daughter. She's 16. She doesn't know what I do. She thinks I run an import business. She thinks the men who come here are business partners. She goes to a good school. She has friends. She has a future. He stepped closer to Chioma. I will do anything to protect that innocence. Anything. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Good. Because here's what's going to happen. You're not quitting. You're staying. I'm doubling your salary to $24,000 a month. Your mother will have her surgery. Your sister will finish university. Your nieces and nephews will eat well. Chioma's breath caught. Why would you do that? Because keeping you close where I can watch you is safer than letting you go. Because running makes you look guilty and scared people make mistakes. Because despite everything, you're good at your job and my daughter likes you. He moved to the door, then paused. But understand this. If you betray me, if you speak one word to anyone about what you've seen, it won't just be you who pays the price. Are we clear? The threat to her family was unspoken but crystal clear. Chioma felt tears burning behind her eyes but refused to let them fall. We're clear. Delete those photos. All of them. I'll have my tech person verify they're gone from your phone and any cloud storage by tonight. He opened the door, then looked back one more time. Welcome to the family, Chioma. I hope you survive it. The next 3 days were torture. Chioma went through her routines like a robot, cleaning rooms that already seemed clean, preparing meals she barely tasted. Mr. Kong, Jin-woo's second-in-command, a massive Korean man with a scar across his left cheek, watched her constantly. She felt his eyes on her everywhere she went. On the 4th day, Hannah found her crying in the kitchen at midnight. Chioma had been trying to video call her mother, but the connection kept dropping. The frustration, the fear, everything she'd been holding in for days finally broke through. Hey, what's wrong? Hannah sat down beside her, her voice gentle. Chioma wiped her eyes quickly. I'm fine. Just tired. Missing home. Nigeria, right? My mom was from Kenya. She died when I was 8. Hannah picked at the edge of the table. Sometimes I dream about her. She used to sing to me in Swahili. I can't remember the words anymore. I'm so sorry. Everyone thinks my dad is cold. Mean, even. But he's not. After Mom died, he stopped sleeping. I'd hear him walking the halls at 3 in the morning. One time I found him in her closet, just sitting there holding her favorite dress. Hannah's eyes glistened. He worked so hard to give me everything. I just wish he'd let me see him be sad sometimes, you know? Like, it's okay to not be strong all the time. Chioma saw Jin-woo differently then. Not just as a criminal. Not just as a threat. But as a father drowning in his own pain, trying to keep his daughter's world perfect while his own crumbled. Your father loves you very much. That's clear. I know. He's just so protective. Won't let me date. Barely lets me go anywhere without security. It's suffocating. Hannah stood up. But I guess that's what happens when you lose someone. You hold on too tight to what's left. 2 weeks later, Chioma's mother had her surgery. Successful. The doctors said she'd make a full recovery. Adi's tuition was paid in full for the entire year. The weight that had been crushing Chioma's chest for months lifted slightly. But the price for that relief was steep. She was trapped now. Complicit. The money in her account was stained with blood she couldn't see but knew was there. One evening, Jin-woo called her to his study. Her heart raced as she climbed the stairs. This was it. He'd decided she was too much of a risk. But when she entered, he simply gestured to a chair. Sit. I have a proposition. Sir? I need someone I can trust in this house. Someone who sees things. Notices things. Maria's getting old. She wants to retire, move back to Mexico to be with her grandchildren. I'm going to let her go with a generous retirement package. That leaves me without a house manager. I don't understand. I'm offering you the position. $30,000 a month. You'd oversee the house staff, manage schedules, handle the day-to-day operations. Most importantly, you'd keep Hannah company when I'm away on business. She likes you. She trusts you. That's rare. Chioma stared at him. You want me to take care of your daughter? I want you invested in this family's well-being. If something happens to me, if my enemies come, I need to know someone will protect her. Someone who understands what's at stake. His voice dropped. You have family who depends on you. I have a daughter who's my entire world. We both have everything to lose. That makes us allies, not enemies. She should have said no. Should have found a way to escape. But looking at his face, she saw the same desperation she felt every time she thought about her family. They were both prisoners of their circumstances, doing terrible things for the people they loved. I'll do it. Jin-woo nodded. Good. Maria leaves in 2 weeks. You start then. As Chioma left his study, she realized the truth. She'd come to America with clean hands and big dreams. Now her hands were tied and her dreams had become survival. Some prices, she thought, are paid in silence. And some cages are made of gold. If you stayed with us until the end, drop a comment telling us what you would have done in Chioma's situation. Would you have taken the money or risked everything to run? And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more intense stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Hit that notification bell because next week's story is even crazier. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.